Hey, it's Levente here from Journeyman AI, and I wanted to talk to you today about some ideas that I've been thinking about regarding AI and automation and how it's going to be replacing our jobs. A lot of people have assumed that it's going to be low level, low skill labor that's going to be replaced by AI. We've all heard of self driving cars. Now we see chatgpt replacing basic menial tasks like writing a website or writing a blog post. We understand where the world is going. And if you think about a business as a pyramid, where at the very base there's the manual labor and the frontline workers, and then there's some middle managers, and then there's the executives. And then at the top, there would be the CEO, and even above the CEO, there's the owners or the board of directors of a company. So if we think about a business with that structure, then we have to think about where is AI and automation taking place. We already know that it's taking place at that low level, and the executives and the business owners, they want that. They want to replace all the human labor with AI in order to achieve better efficiency and better profitability. So that's already happening, and I think a lot of people should be concerned for their own jobs, because we won't have the same kind of jobs in 10 years as we do today. Now, I don't think that's a problem, but the transition period and how everything plays out, that can really impact people's quality of life, and it will impact the economy, and it will impact how we all do business and what we think of as a realistic job, because certain careers just may not be an option in the future. So we already know that the businesses are driving those changes. They want those changes. They are working with the big tech companies to implement those changes in their businesses. They're working with smaller consulting firms to drive, more customized changes. That's already happening. But I have been thinking about how can we ensure that this transition actually benefits everybody in the best way possible. So I've been brainstorming. I run a data science AI consulting firm where we implement custom strategies for different people, different businesses, and it's got me thinking about the gains that businesses receive from AI and technology. Those gains should be somewhat allocated to the workers who helped get the business to that point where it can be optimized in the first place. So I've been thinking, take this pyramid structure of business and take the top layer, take the executives, right? Those are the people who are making $500,000 salaries, $1 million compensation, or at bigger companies, even more. Now, I don't think we're at the point where we can get rid of those executives and replace them with some kind of super beings AI, but I think I want to target that level of automation. And I think that's a really lofty goal, but I think the idea would be for smaller agencies or businesses, where let's say you're growing, you're a startup, you have a SaaS product, you're growing, you're not sure if you should hire a head of sales or a chief marketing officer or one of those executive positions. The pay package might be 200K base salary and a lot more that you're giving up in stock. So the idea would be those growing companies who may, they need the help. They need the intelligence and the knowledge that comes with one of those executives, but it's really costly for the business. And sometimes the business cannot sustain those kind of talents for a long time. So I've been thinking that if we propose for those businesses that we'll create an AI that actually the owner or the chief executive or whoever's in the company at the time, they can work with that AI and then they can automate those tasks. So the idea would be that you have a whole suite, a C-suite of AI that can be a kind of co-executive with the top level of the business. So you could have a CFO, and that's an AI that basically analyzes your financial transactions. It looks at your budget. It looks at your accounting. It's a very complicated job to be a CFO, but I don't see why we can't at least start to take those components that the CFO is working on and start to decompose that and say, how can we have, GPT-4 start to at least approach this problem? Same goes with marketing. So if you think about what a chief marketing officer does, is they look at, let's say, all of the all the advertising spend, all of the campaigns, whether it's email campaigns, social media campaigns that are going out. They think about the brand of the company, and they're constantly thinking about it, right? So as opposed to some of these chat agents where you log in to ChatGPT and you can interface with it and it responds to your questions. And yes, you can do prompt engineering where it'll ask you something. As opposed to having that kind of format, I propose that these co-executive agents, they would have more of a long-running autonomous kind of activity, and they would escalate certain questions, or they would escalate different questions and different concepts to the owner, to the people who are using it. And you don't need to automate the entire process. Like for chief sales officer, you don't need to be doing all of the sales, inbound, outbound, optimizing your strategy, everything, and your pricing. But you could have the AI take care of some of that, and it could have a timer where it's running every hour, analyzing any incoming deals or trying to scrape some lead gen. Now, and the idea would be that if it doesn't know the way to complete a task, it would escalate that to a human, and then it would just put that in a queue, and then the human can go and take care of that task. So this is the way I'm starting to think about it, and went on a little bit of a tangent here explaining what I think co-executive AI agents would look like. I'm going to be making several videos about each of these, and these are the kind of product offerings that I want to bring. I would have these be basically SaaS offerings where we could take a look at your system and plug and play. So if you use Salesforce, if you use Apollo, if you use this, Facebook ads, we can integrate that into your system, and then we can set up an autonomous agent that is constantly doing analysis and constantly trying to optimize and acting on its own, and then maybe giving you some information at the end of the week, or maybe having a one-on-one chat dialogue with you. So the same way that your executives would have a chat dialogue with you if you're a CEO, we could have the same for these co-executives, that they could have this back and forth one-on-one conversation with you, where they fill you in on how the week went, how your sales reps are doing, or whatever. But basically, so that's the concept of AI co-executive agents. I'm really excited about it, and I think the idea here would be to try to do it for social good. So if you think about it, say a business could replace or not hire those executives, those knowledge workers who are really costly. I propose that if implemented correctly, I want those businesses to take a portion of the profit or the savings and reallocate that towards the lowest or the entire company, basically equally distribute that. So the idea is that we can't really depend on the government to optimize the new AI-driven world. The government just doesn't act fast enough, and there's been no major movement from a regulatory body. I personally don't trust the government enough to take care of this in the way that I think it should. And you definitely cannot trust the businesses to self-regulate. I mean, that hasn't worked in crypto industry. It hasn't worked in finance in general, and even technology. So we need to definitely act and do something as professionals and people that can have an impact to try to make sure that the wealth is redistributed, instead of having the wealth and the profit fully allocated to those business owners. So if you own the business, you're a shareholder or you're the CEO, you would take all the profit for yourself from all the savings from AI. Or take the profit and reinvest it in the business, which is absolutely okay. I mean, it's your business. But as a solutions provider, as a consultant, I want to say, I have these solutions for you, and this is how much it's going to save you. And I want you to take, say, 15, 20% of the savings, and I want you to distribute that across the company, so that those people who got you to the point where you can now start implementing these AI solutions, those people are also getting some benefit out of that. And I think long term, what it's going to do is going to flatten the organizational hierarchy, because if you think about it, you won't need such a hierarchy in these businesses. You'll basically have low-level workers, maybe a manager to each, And then the manager of managers, whether that's VP, director, or a C-suite, those I think are these really complex decision-making systems that we think can't be replaced by AI. But really, I think those are the positions most ripe to be replaced by AI in the next 3 to 5 years. I think there's already technology out that could replace say you could already have an AI that's better than a bad chief of sales. Or you could already have an AI that's better than a really non-technical CTO who doesn't know what he's doing and is messing everything up. So if we think about humans, we are amazing creatures, but we are also imperfect beings. And not to say that AI is a perfect being, but they have certain benefits, whether that's being able to run 24/7, or we could actually hard code certain, we could hard code it so it's not biased against race or sexuality or whatever. So I think there is more control with AI in a way. I think people are scared of the runaway AI, and I think you have to design for that because that's going to be a problem. But thinking about this now, looking towards the future, I personally want to make sure that the transition happens in a way where everybody benefits. And I think if I make a platform where I say, I try to build these co-executive products out there, and I encourage other people to make similar products. I don't think this is a unique idea at all, but I encourage those people to also try to consider social good and try to basically persuade the companies that they're implementing solution for it. The company will be saving money. The solutions provider, the consultant will be making money. But I think the people in the business at the lowest level who are most in danger of being fired, they have the least leverage in a corporation. I think they should receive some of the benefits as well if we want to see a better future. So there's my idea. I'm calling it A.I.M for Social Good. The co-executives I want to build, I'm calling them AI management or AI automated management. And so it would be A.I.M for Social Good. So that's the platform I want to start. I want to encourage other people to support this and follow me for other conversations about AI. I really enjoy making technical content, but I also love kind of thinking about these high-level philosophical concepts and how it's going to affect the future and how we can actually move forward together in this really crazy world that's happening. So thanks, guys.